My name is Aksik, aka Annika, and welcome to my channel. Very happy to see you back here. And if you're new, welcome. Today we are talking about my Hanna Karlzon books, and this is kind of a popular thing at the moment to kind of take books by one author or one series and rank them by your preference, and also show your favorite pages and maybe your very favorite page in the book. And in my case, I usually also show a couple of kind of least favorite pages and explain also things that I don't necessarily like about the book or the author. And let's start with funnily enough, Seasons by Hanna Karlzon. This, I think, was her second book, possibly, or possibly third. I, can't really swear to it. Back then, I wasn't yet coloring. I think it was published around 2017 or so. And I have it in the Dutch version by Moss Publishing. Moss. Which means in this case that it has fantastic paper. So, it will pretty much withstand to anything. It is, of course, a beautiful book. One of the reasons I got so many Hanna Karlzon books, I don't color her too often, but I do enjoy coloring her. She still intimidates me, her artwork. I kind of feel that I, kind of have to really invest into each page I do in her books. I kind of need to get rid of that mindset and just relax with the pages a bit more. That's my problem at the moment, why I don't do more of her pages. But in my case, if a book is of really good quality and because she's so popular, they are usually fairly decent price. Like they're not, blindingly expensive. And if it's a hardback book and I like most of the contents and it's on a good paper, I tend to go for it because I enjoy those hardback books a lot. And I do like her art a lot. So her books are kind of like in between coloring book and art book for me. And I know that Seasons is quite a lot of you actually consider that one of your favorites from all her books. I think Hanna Karlzon fans or colorists can be roughly divided into two clans. Ones who like her older work, which came in this really big format, which is Daydreams, Seasons, Summer Night Dreams, I think, or something like that. Soulmates, I don't even know. Goldcorn, I think, was also in kind of this kind of format. And, the work in these, they're bigger. The work in these is kind of more ornamental, more stylized in a way. And then the other group who likes her later books, which are the book series that she's been publishing last 4 or 5 years, which is Cottage, Tales from the Forest Kingdom, Tales from the City Among the Stars. It usually always starts with Tales from. They are slightly smaller in format. Let me show you if I can find one. Here, they're slightly smaller in format, not hugely so, but they are slightly smaller. I don't know if you can see from here, this paper in between that kind of disguises it a bit. But they are smaller and narrower as well, as you can see, and they're usually thinner as well. They're not as thick, but they're kind of more storied. They are themed. They stick to the theme, and there's a lot more storied pages. So this book, as I said, is a lot of people's favorite. A lot of people have finished that or are working towards finishing it. And I do like this book. The fact that it's on the last place here does not mean that I don't like the book. It mostly means that books on last two places, I mostly consider them my least favorite because they have most of the pages that I don't like, or that don't suit me at all. So what are my favorite pages in this book? Okay, I really like this spread. She has kind of this portrait plus kind of little potion bottle for each season, and I like all of these spreads. Some more than others. This one, really love it. I think it's supposed to be spring spread, and it's very pretty. The portrait is pretty, the little bottles. One day when I feel up for it, I would like to do kind of a spread like this. I like this spread. I need to remember. I like the Art Deco feel to this one. I like it as a whole, not just, this portrait or this one. I think they kind of belong together. So if I finalize one, I kind of want to do them together. Therefore, I have the background. It's acrylic paint here already down. The color, I wanted and liked for this spread. And eventually I'll get to it. Like I already have kind of color schemes. I was thinking about using Kuretake Art Deco watercolors as base here, get the color scheme from there and then do the shading, kind of try to go subtle. Which in my case, yeah, good luck. Not very subtle colorist. And here I like this specific page. Not that, like, I'm not a huge fan of her ornamental box. Not that I don't like them as such. It's just I would do one and that would be enough for me. They're kind of feel samey to me, kind of doing the same ornamental thing all over again. Whereas I do really like her kind of a storied pages, and I like this little scene with the girl walking her huge cat, bejeweled cat, and those big mushrooms, and you can kind of create an atmosphere here and some light effects. And it would totally be a cool page if I once I get around to it. There's another one which I think is really cute, is this one here. Two little animals sheltering from the rain under the mushroom. I think the concept is cute. It's not one of my favorites, but I like this page a lot. Then I like this spread, which I think is the fall or autumn kind of a portrait and potion bottle spread. Really beautiful portrait work here. I really like her. Sometimes her portraits are hit and sometimes her portraits are miss for me. And in this book, there's quite a few that I really like. And another one that I really like here is kind of the Snow Queen, or I think it's actually supposed to be Santa Lucia, Lucia. I don't know now how to pronounce this. Sorry, I'm drinking. But yeah, it's just very, very pretty. It would be quite an undertaking, but it would look really cool once done. And I'm trying not to look up other people's works because then I just feel so inferior and never do anything. So the pages I don't like, I don't like this one, not the concept. I like the face, but the hand, there's something wrong with the hands. Those tiny hand syndrome here, and the way they're bending gives me shudders because there's something is wrong. And I just can't get over it. I know it's all stylized, but I know just can't. There's quite a lot of pages like this that just don't fit me. I'm not particularly keen on these bogs. It's just a sample. Like, they're pretty and everything, but they don't go to me at all. Whereas actually I like this portrait a lot. Once again, I think there's a lot of successful portraits in this book, and I would actually like to eventually complete most of them. There's another one that I don't like here. Where is it? Oh, oh yeah. This kind of a just kind of mindless ornamental work, which can be fun occasionally. It's just it rarely calls to me. And this particular portrait doesn't call to me either. Something about the angle and the eye is kind of off. And this thing is just too big. and looks like it should be transparent here, but it seems to be kind of like panel here. I just, can't make sense of it. And the ear is off as well to me, where I don't think it's supposed to be there. I have, big, a spread done in this book, which I'm, pretty all right with. I should actually spray it because, it was done. Well, that one was done without one watercolor base, so it should hold up pretty well. So it was. I first put down heavy watercolor layers, and then just used pencils on top of it. And do I have any other? I have loads of stuff based here, kind of different ideas or color schemes created on some kind of a like blends and some backgrounds like this, but I don't really have much finished. I don't have much finished most of her books. Oh, I have this page. I do have this page, which was very simple. Think it was on acrylic wash, diluted acrylic paint, or possibly gouache base. Anyways, that's about that. The next one that comes out is Daydreams, and that I think is the first book. And that's actually weird because I do like the drawing here quite a lot. This is kind of when she's just starting, so she hasn't really arrived to like sometimes she's super ornamental like in this bird, and sometimes parts of it are actually very kind of natural and almost realistic, and then she goes ornamental on top of them. I kind of like, because of that, I really like some images in this book and really dislike some images, which is kind of weird thing about this book. So what do I really like here? Okay, oops, I just pulled it out. Okay, I really love this page. It's a specific one with the little crowned, I don't even know what they are, tiny animals on the tree. But I just, really love the feel of this page and the kind of a drawing style, how she's drawn those animals. Later on, she gets more stylized with how she draws her animals. But here, they actually look like animals. I love those mice traveling in the tea kettle or on the tea kettle. I've seen too many. Good old problem of mine. I've seen too many really, really good interpretations of this page. So I don't know if I'm ever going to actually do it because I feel that I'm going to copy somebody if I go for it. Then I like this portrait. I think is really pretty. And actually, I could totally go, if I decide to go for a spread, I would enjoy kind of doing, uh, this page as well. Although, it's not on my huge favorites, but they would work together nicely as a spread. Then I don't like these. She has quite a few of these, at least 2 or 3, kind of these spreads that you have, or you kind of patterned bog or something, and then you have outline and put a pattern in yourself, and it just doesn't call to me. Really like this one. Love the portrait. Love how she's drawn the portrait. Love the theme. Drawing, the composition. It's absolutely gorgeous. Once again, I've seen so many interpretations of this one, and it would take me a month to do, with all the detail. And I would also like to kind of soften and kind of cover the lines, but it is absolutely stunning. I think that was actually supposed to be my favorite here. I forgot to put the tag into the correct place. So you saw my absolute favorite already. And one of the other ones that I really like is this cute little girl holding the bird. There's quite a few, in that style in this book. And the portraits are lovely. I have only done this page in this book. It was satin glazing, then water-based markers on top, and then pencils on top. So there was a lot of kind of layers in this one. But, because of all those layers, I was able to get rid of the outlines, pretty fully. So I kind of like what came out here. This is one of my favorite Hanna Karlzon pages. This page also absolutely stunning, but would take, once again, a month or more to finish for me. So it would be one of those pages that I start and then drop for a while because I would get sick of it, just doing one thing. And what I don't like, and that's, another thing in this book, like I either like the same, it's a beautiful rabbit, but because probably, she or he or it looks fairly realistic. I wish it would be rabbit without all those flowers growing out of its back. It's just my thing, I'm not a huge fan of patterned animals, and if I can, I prefer them without patterns. This one is just a lot of line art, a lot of line work for me, kind of the overdone blackness of the sea. I would have preferred if she would have achieved that effect with fewer black lines. Just would be kind of hard to get rid of. Then what else is here? Oh, and then typical kind of like wallpapery feed, loads of ornamental birds and kind of this abundance of them. I've seen beautiful interpretations of this page. It just doesn't call to me. So, I'm probably never going to even attempt doing it. Now, the next one is it's debatable if that should be in this line at all because it's a compilation book. It's a collection of all her kind of a bigger books, kind of a best of thing. But it does have, the only reason I got it, firstly, it was from Moose. It has 11 new pages, which are drawn only for this book. And I haven't touched that book yet. And I don't think, if I will, I will probably only touch those 11 pages. Possibly because, I don't have jewelry case and I don't have the Summer Nights from her, so this book would have kind of the best of these books as well. So I kind of have, all I need. So I don't need these books. So there's a lot of pretty pages here. Some of them, I keep recognizing. Some of them, I know I've done this, I've done that. So obviously, the popular pages. I love this cat here. I don't. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful book, beautiful paper. Although in some of the Moose books, the paper is even thicker than that. It's not, the thickest. I think in the Teeth Perk, or the Seasons book, the paper is actually thicker. But I really love, this, but it was already in the Daydreams. So, should I really mark it even here? Oh, I love this spread and would love to do it one day eventually. The Viking boat, really gorgeous. Would like to do something fun with night sky. Yeah, would be very enjoyable work to do. And not even super complicated because there's not a crazy amount of detail here. But you would probably need to take either inks or watercolors because there's a lot of empty space that you need to kind of fill with something. Love the cat with the stick of dynamite. Love these portraits. They're all new. This is my absolute favorite page from this book. I think it's super cool and could be done in really fun way. It's just I don't feel up for it yet. Maybe eventually I will. But yeah, I would like to do something cool with it. It's a nice page. And another one that I like from here is those two portraits. Both are lovely. So yeah, adventurers, I presume, are these two. So yeah, it's a nice book, and because it's a compilation, and because there's some pages that I really, really love, and most of those pages are kind of good or appealing to me. That is why I like this book. So this is now book number was it 4? I have altogether 11 books. I don't know if I mentioned it in the beginning of the video. As I said, not all, but close, close. And this is, I think the English name of that is The Space, Rymden. And it's, I think it started, those books started their life as kind of a, I don't know if they were free, but they were probably published by one of the fast food chains in Sweden. And then they became available for kind of international audience eventually as well. They were kind of republished. But, you know, they were initially kind of coloring book for their equivalent of, I don't know, McDonald's or, no, don't know exactly what chain it was, but I think that was the story. So in here, I don't have like it's a PIM book and it's definitely geared towards kids. So the images are simplified. So if you feel like kind of Karlzon is a bit intimidating and there's too much detail, this would be kind of a cool little book to just, you know, kind of stick your toes into the water and, you know, try it out. It's not overwhelming. The paper is very good. It takes pretty much, you know, any media. So yeah, it's great for trying out. It is glue bound, but I think it's glue bound, or maybe it's so, can't even tell. Looks like glue bound to me. The other ones are, of course, also, you know, the big hardback books. But I've done this page here, which I actually like how it came out. It came out fun and a bit mad, you know, which it's supposed to be. It's all about kind of space and stars and aliens and kind of the wonder of kids when they discover the existence of space. I actually love this page. This is why I put the little tag here, because I would love to do this page eventually. And then I really love that kind of it's once again, you know, meeting aliens on alien planet, because there's alien plants and little alien creatures who are very cute and seem super friendly. They're all smiley and happy. Then there's, I love those aliens, the two of them. They're so cute. I'd love to do that one. And I love this little scene. They're looking through telescope onto the falling star. Really, you know, cute. And what I didn't like, I don't really like this one. Is just it's not even dislike, but it's not calling to me. You know, it's kind of a like this wallpapery, you know, loads of little aliens page, and I just, you know, usually can't be bothered with pages like that. But you know, I might have a mood one day to do something like that. And my favorite here, favorite, is actually these kind of, they're, you know, alien of a day kind of a spread that you could do the background, and then, you know, when you feel like it, you could do one alien, then another, and then another, you know, as the mood takes you. And they're very cute and they're super friendly and funny. So I like this book. Next one is once again Space Team now, but this is a bit more grown up now. This is now the series that she published last 5 years maybe, and they all start with Tales of. And I, most cases, get for these either the original Swedish version, because in original Swedish version, the paper takes water really, really well. You can even dissolve water-based markers, for example, directly on the paper here. And these are now kind of, like I said in the beginning, they're more storied, they're themed. Kind of more compact, more, I don't even know how to express it. They're not so overwhelming. And she is really working really well into the theme. There are ornamental kind of a pretty pages like that as well, because the book format is smaller. They don't often feel as overwhelming as the ones in the big books. And there's a lot of kind of beautiful story pages. There's still lovely portraits. Hanna portraits are kind of almost controversial, because some people adore them, some people dislike them intensely. I like them. Not all of them, but I, enjoy doing Hanna Karlzon portrait. So what do I like here? I like this dragon and the girl page. I like, actually the page I've already done. It's kind of a steampunk girl. The overwhelming theme in this book, I'd say, would be kind of steampunk. She's very much working into steampunk aesthetic here. So I like how her face came out. I like her hair, her metal wings, the way they came out. Yeah, I think, she came out pretty all right. So, enjoyed doing her. And I think it's actually inks in the background, possibly. Pretty sure there were. Yeah, I've done this one as well. I really like, for some reason, this little simple little scene, kind of two birds on the window. I think it's very cute. There would be nice relaxer page when I feel like it. I also like this really cute scene of little girl or boy, not really sure, but I think it's a girl, walking with her friend Robot on the little outdoor market in this star city. Kind of a cozy and steampunk and cute at the same time. What else is here? Oh, I like this little young woman or girl meeting an alien. Really cute. And I also like the page with the bird sitting on the nest. So both, the whole spread is cute. And I also like this page quite a lot. But I don't particularly like, well, I don't really, have huge dislikes in this book, but, this kind of a lot of metal, kind of a plain, although it's, fun and cute, it doesn't really call to me. And this one also, it would only work for me if I wanted something super simple, no thinking at all page. For some reason, I don't particularly care for this page. I don't even know how to explain it. But there it is. It's just not for me. Just doesn't call for me, neither one of these. And my favorite spread here is actually kind of probably almost unusual for me, that this spread of star horses, I'd like to kind of come up with an interesting color scheme and do some fun shading and do really kind of contrast between really darks and really lights. So yeah, that would be a fun page to do. The next one is Soulmates, and the version I have is from Netherlands, from Moes, by Moes again, and it's amazing paper. I think it's from all the those big books. I think this one and possibly also the Seasons have the thickest paper. It's really thick, kind of sturdy. So you could do pretty much anything here, but for some mysterious reason, maybe it's because it slightly intimidates me, maybe because I like it so much, I haven't really colored here at all. So I will get to it, hopefully, eventually. But I think one of the things that kind of has put me off is that you can't just do one page here. They're all spreads, and they are designed the way that you really should do both pages. Even if they could possibly be just, you could just take one of them. But you really should, for it to work and to be cohesive, you should really do both, because it's basically, a portrait of a human, and then what her or his animal would be, or creature would be, because it's not always animal. And I like the drawing in this book. I like the idea. So hopefully, eventually, I'll get to it. So I love this one with the fox because, come on, it's a fox, and fox and automatically is one of my favorites. I love this one with reindeer. I also like this one. What is it? Lemur? Is it? No, it's not a lemur. I'm not sure what is that animal's name. If you know, leave me in the comments what it is. But I like the portrait. I like her with the glasses. And she's very kind of minimalistic portrait. Sometimes Hannah just, kind of over details the portraits and puts loads of heavy detailed jewelry or ornaments onto them. I like that, here she often just lets the portrait be what it is, a portrait. Then I like this one. I just think it's cool as an idea, the playing card. And I think it would look cool as a finished spread. Obviously, it's Alice themed also. So it's Queen of Hearts, and the White Rabbit. And I also like this one mostly because her face, she has such an interesting and slightly kind of sassy and happy and kind of a sly face. Really like her. Would be fun to color her. But I didn't like her particularly. I am not keen. Well, this one would be one of the ones that just doesn't call to me much. This one is actually weird because I really appreciate the idea and the artwork here. I actually think that if I were to kind of get myself into gear and do it, it would come out really cool. It's not at the moment calling to me, but I know it would be really cool if I did it. So, it's kind of almost controversial in my head. But there's one page here that I absolutely, no, never. The way the plants are growing from her mouth and the wings. I don't mind if she does kind of those quirky eyelashes sometimes, but I think it's overdone here. And the fact that the plants are growing from the mouth, she's dead. I'm sorry. It's just, I can't get over it, she's decomposing. And yeah, I'm not going to do her. But yeah, not bad. And this is actually, kind of sadly lost spread because my daughter colored her with alcohol markers, sadly. So I've been thinking about, kind of finishing it off. She basically, put fairly flat coloring down here. So I might eventually, if I feel like it, go and try to kind of finish it off. But I might not. I might just leave it as is because, it's a memory. You don't have to, everything doesn't need to be perfect. And it was a moment in my life. And she is lovely and fantastic and very, very talented, actually. Now, the next one. Tales from Atlantis. This is obviously ocean themed. So there's a lot of fish and kind of water, birds and animals and mermaids. And it is a very, very beautiful book. Absolutely appreciate it. And paper, this is once again, this now the Swedish from Tukkan Förlag. Swedish edition, so water behaves here very, very well. And my favorite pages, there's loads of, it's now in the last books, that's kind of almost hard to pick favorite pages because there's just so many that I really, really like. But in this one, I think I've only actually finished one page here. It's that one. Many things went wrong here, so it was kind of all kind of fixer-upper type of a page. But, for a fixer-upper, it actually came out pretty all right. So, sometimes I think things turn out better for before after they go wrong. And this one, I kind of consider one of my favorite pages. I always like this page. It's just in this case, it's actually finished. I love this spread. I I think it actually would work together very well, kind of cohesive, like Princess and the Frog situation, possibly. Although, she could also be a mermaid, but I like them both. I like the frog prince and mermaid slash princess. I don't know. You decide, it's kind of up to you what you're going to do with this page, but I think they would look cool together as a spread. Then I love this lion. I could live without this ornament thing here. This one is not really calling to me, although, if I feel like doing something ornamentally, if I just want to finish off the spread once I do the lion, I might do it. But, it's not really on its own doing anything for me. And I love this, was it hippocamp? Something like that. The horse with fishtail. I think it looks really cool. Here I would need to figure out what the background would be because, it's floating at the moment. So I don't know if I would just, put some colors and wash, or would I try to create a bit of a background, environment there. And I love this kind of bust, a statue, which would be like statue underwater. I think it, would look really cool. It's been kind of calling to me for a while. This one, I think, would possibly one of the next things I do. And my least favorite here would be this one. Not that I dislike the woman here in the middle, but this finery, kind of fiddly bits around it, just kind of ruin it for me. The only way I can see myself doing that if I just put a wash down around it, kind of maybe varied wash, and just don't do anything to them. Just leave them alone, fairly dark wash, so the kind of pattern shining through. But I wouldn't want to color all that bit by bit. And, this one is just, once again, ornamental page, which, aren't usually my favorites from her. I like her more storied, with more environment. I like this page a lot. And another one that I don't particularly like is, this one not that much. This one actually could be pretty cool. Think I don't even know what they're supposed to be. Swans, ducks, probably swans. But this kind of a type of it's more of an example. This kind of a mandala type of a busy page. To me, those are kind of more of a filler pages that really don't call to me. And my favorite is this spread here. I think it would be really, really nice, if and when finished. Beautiful profiles. And next book, which is now number 4, is Godjul. Godjul, something like this. Sorry about my butchering my Swedish pronunciation. This is basically happy Christmas or Merry Christmas. That's what Godjul means. And I have the original Swedish edition. I have quite a few pages here because I got it it was published last year. It's our newest published book. There's, I think, Halloween book coming out this year, which I'm not sure I'm going to get because I rarely do much Halloween coloring. I do like kind of horror and kind of fantasy and kind of a monsters and kind of a mystical things coloring, but not kind of a narrowed down to Halloween alone. So it's this one, I think, is one of the best Christmas coloring books out there because of the variety of the images, great paper. It's not overwhelming. You can see, it's not super thick, but it does have really nice paper. The size is slightly different from the kind of those Tales from books. It's slightly bigger, like it's just only very slightly, like it's wider, but slightly shorter. So it's not exactly the same format, but it's close to the Tales from series, and it has from the same publisher to Conferlock. But here I have noticed on this paper, the water-based markers can actually occasionally, if there's strong colors and depending on the marker as well, they can go through, which is not the case in the Tales from series. So I don't know if they changed the paper or something is a bit different, because that did not happen before. So I have here quite a few pages, well, quite a few, for me anyway. And I've based quite a lot here as well. And I've worked here because I discovered that the markers um, and watercolor can sometimes go through here. I mean, water-based markers on watercolor. I actually worked quite a lot here on acrylic base. So, I created diluted matte acrylic paints and used them as a base here quite a lot. And, it worked out all right for me. On some pages, I actually used watercolors as well. Watercolor kind of classic pigment based watercolor doesn't really go through, but water based markers can. Kind of need to be careful with that one here. But the book is lovely. It's really nice. So favorite pages here. Uh, okay, so let's take this one. I like this whole spread, the horse and the candle. I think it would be really cute, when finished. I like not that much. The frame just doesn't sit for some reason well with me, and something is kind of off balance on this image. But I really like this scene with the branch and the bird feeder and the bird sitting here in the crisp winter weather. I think it would be a really lovely page to finish. Then what else do I like? I like this, the Lucia Day, Santa Lucia Day image. I think it's really nice. I always like the imagery of that, how they do it anyway, the candles on young girls' heads. And I really love this one. I would like to actually do it pretty soon, because it doesn't have to be Christmas, it could be anything. Some of them, this one and this one, you could do all through the year if you feel like doing winter image, because it's not that specifically Christmas. But a lot of the images, yes, they are very much like, you can see the theme here, there's ornaments everywhere, there's spruce, pine trees, there's reindeer pulling the presents, which is also a cool spread. So yeah, there's a lot of, very clearly this is Christmas. But I would love to do this one just for funsies, because I just love those two pigs. They are so cute. And what's my favorite here? I don't even know if I ever get to it, because I'm usually terrified by those super detailed images. But hear me out. It's really cool. It's really well drawn. It creates a really cozy, beautiful scene. So I would kind of love to kind of try and do it, maybe nearer to Christmas, do it one stall, stall by stall type of a thing. But yeah, it's just beautiful, isn't it? The whole scene, all the details, everything that is happening. It would take ages for me to color though, because I am slow. But yeah. So what don't I like? It's not too many here, but it's not that I don't like them. It's just not my thing particularly. Like just coloring Christmas ornaments. It's like, yeah, meh. I don't really enjoy doing it much. So, why would I if there's so many images that I do enjoy coloring? And here, this one, both of them really. Here, this kind of a snowflake with ornaments. It's kind of a bit of a filler page for me. Plus, of course, the fact that this is where I realized that certain water-based markers can go through. Doesn't help. And those parallels, I don't know, I don't like something about the faces, or I don't know, it just doesn't call to me. It's cute and funny. It's just not particularly my thing. And okay, so is that going to fall over? Please no. Now, next book. We're getting now into the top three. So this is third, and this is Midnight Masquerade, or Tales from the Midnight Masquerade. It, I think, is still from that Tales from series, so it's slightly smaller. But this is one of the kind of the controversial Dutch edition of this book, and what most did and what Hanna Karlzon was not happy about at all is that they tried to make most pages one-sided. And by breaking it up like this, you can see, like most pages would be, you could do them with alcohol markers, or, whatever you put onto them, you know, in most cases it wouldn't be an issue. But by that, they kind of disrupted the flow of the book, and Hanna Karlzon was not happy with them, that, and with the fact that they did that. I don't think it was properly consulted with her. I'm not 100% sure what, but she is not happy with that book, or was not happy. I don't think it keeps her up at night. But I really like that because it has that fantastic moss paper, which is beautiful, kind of a smooth, takes water, takes pencils, fantastic paper. And also, if I did want to use alcohol markers on some images, I absolutely and totally could, which I should actually take an advantage of. And in this book, my favorites, I love this spread, this party animals playing instruments, and the little girl, or young girl, not little. I actually like this spread. This one actually was based by my daughter at some stage, when she just felt like quickly flat coloring something. I think she might have put a little bit, tiny bit of shading in, but not really much. But I could easily kind of finish this one, like would like to kind of do that spread eventually, because it just would be fun. Here I have this spread already, which is also one of my favorites, the sun and the star girl, the costumes. And it's, I don't know if you can see here, but it's super sparkly and has dimensional pearls and everything. So it's very, very fun. And here I've used watercolor a lot, and then the background is watercolor, and then I dropped salt into it to get all those kind of effects in the background. I don't know if you can see it. I think it came out fun. And this one was done purely with art, not just Artex, various acrylic markers. And they were kind of blended on directly, on the paper. And I think I put tiny bit onto some of them. I did put tiny bit of pencil as well. And there's oil pastel here, in the corners to kind of easily and quickly darken, kind of softly darken the corners a bit. Yeah, it's kind of a simplistic, but it was fun to do. Really love that flapper girl portrait. Love to do that one. And really like this girl with an umbrella. Beautiful image. And also this spread is gorgeous. Erika at Elm Colors did that spread, and it looked absolutely fantastic. But I would eventually kind of love to do something with it as well, because it's just so pretty. The ones that I don't particularly like, well, this one, that portrait just doesn't call to me. I'm not saying that it's bad, I kind of like bits of it, but I don't think I'm going to get to it. It's not one of my favorites. And another one that I don't like from here, this is just a sample, kind of this ornamental filler page that is just not calling to me. Like, I rarely ever feel urge doing something like this. And my favorites here, I actually like the scene of people going to the carnival. There's, the castle. I think it's a castle, yeah, here in the background, and they're walking, to go to the party. And I think it's as a scene, it's a beautiful scene. I've seen it done really nicely as well. So therefore, I kind of feel somewhat intimidated by it. Okay, and number two and number one are kind of, I was very much breaking my head over it. Which one is number one and which one is number two? It pretty much, I think, depends on the day and my mood. But here at the moment, Tales from the Forest Kingdom are my second place, and this book is actually one of the few which is the Gibbs Smith edition. So the paper isn't as good as the one in the Dutch or Swedish versions, in my opinion. It's very nice for pencils, but it's not as nice for water media, although it does take water as well. I'm not gonna lie and say it's not, but not as well. Here, I think it was one of my first. I think it was one of my first oil coloring books I ever bought, and I think this would have been one of the first kind of full pages I did at all when I started adult coloring as a hobby. I think it's Giotto pencils, Giotto and Prismacolor, and background is different watercolors and inks and some acrylic markers as well. Or possibly acrylic paint, because back then I didn't really have many colors of acrylic markers. So I would have just taken a kind of a brush and done a lot of kind of covering of line art with actual brush. Do I have any other pages here? I'm not sure, actually. I have based some, pages like this here, but I don't think I have anything finished here, which is weird because, this is one of my favorites. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have this spread as well. I was kind of getting mixed up. Which is one of my favorite pages ever. I really like how this one came out. The light effect, the background, I think was done with gel crayons, pretty sure. Possibly, most likely gelatos, because they're kind of more muted and more earthy tones, which are hard to find in many sets, but gelatos do have them. And I don't remember which pencils, but and then I finished. This is one of the places I would do ornamental page, if I actually have a feel that this spread is finished, because I really like this page and I wanted to have kind of finished spread effect here. So I did the ornamental page next to the page that I actually liked. So yeah, really love that spread. So that was actually one of my favorite spreads here. But it was already finished, obviously. So what else is here? Really like that one. There's kind of several kind of those troll pages here. This kindly forest troll who is really helpful and kind and loves children, and I just adore those images. And this portrait is also lovely. So this would be my absolute, what I would consider one of my favorite pages in this book. This is my favorite. But some other favorites from here. Okay, now I'm losing. Oh, I like this page. The mouse concert, the mouse playing banjo, and all the audience listening to the mouse. It's just such an adorable page. Love to do it one day. And another page with a, actually this, I mixed up, this was supposed to be my absolute favorite. Because I like both images here. I like both this kind of a forest fairy or magical fairy, and I love the image with the troll and the kids as well. I think it's just beautiful and fun. And another page, kind of spread, I like both of these. I like the portrait and I like the Robin Hood fox also. And the ones I don't particularly like, just a sample, just this frog looks very unhappy with the tree growing out of its back. Just, yeah, sometimes I get this kind of a click in my brain that this animal is in pain or unhappy, and you know, this page will never get colored. And I also don't particularly like the face, you know, what she did on this portrait. There's nothing specifically wrong, but it's just not my taste. And here, another one that I wasn't particularly happy with is this one, you know, the spread with another crown thing, which is not calling to me at all. Just, I know that sometimes, you know, people, and even me, I know I enjoy just coloring metals or, you know, doing gold or silver or whatever, but doesn't happen too often. And here, that once again, something is seriously wrong with the hands. They just bend wrong, and I can't cope with it. It's like, no, this is weird and wrong. And my last book of all my Hanna Karlzon books, my number one today, is and this is Hexenstuga. It basically, it's Tales from the Witch's Cottage. And once again, it's a beautiful, beautiful book. Pretty much every page, well, not every page, but most of the pages, I feel that, you know, I would really enjoy coloring. You know, this spread, I should have actually marked that one as well. I didn't. But you know, this is just too many spreads here and images here that I go, oh, you know, I would really love to do them all. So beautiful. And I haven't colored here much. This one is one of my late. I pretty much found it in the original. You know, sometimes Amazon gets odds and ends from. This one is the portrait I did here, and I think it came out really cool. It's on the acrylic, diluted acrylic base, and I think Prismacolor more pencils here I used for it, and I think it came out very nice. Sometimes Amazon, yeah, kind of, you can find, if you look around, they sell off, you know, that they have Swedish version or Dutch version of certain books, just, you know, on Amazon, and you can get them for a very cheap price. And I just stumbled across it. It was, you know, very well priced, and I just picked it up, and then I absolutely fell in love with it. So this one, I didn't, you know, initially plan to even get it, but because I found it like this, I'm very happy that I have it. So pages I like here, I like this witch with her two cats, and which I think is supposed to be a crow, but possibly is not, but it doesn't really matter, does it? You color it however you feel like it. This whole spread, the sleeping cat with mice sleeping on top of the cat, and her mixing potions. It's kind of a, you know, creates a picture of an evening in your head. I love this image here with the window and the cat sitting on the window and flowers outside. So I, you know, kind of those botanical and kind of flowery pages can appeal to me if there's a scene or kind of something that creates a feel for me that I want to do it. just on their own, or kind of entwined with some ornaments, they don't really call to me. And another one here. Okay, I have lost the plot. I kind of lost the place where that one was. I know the page I marked. I think it was that one, yes, that I meant. But there's so many pages that I really like. As a spread, once again, I loved the image of the well, and I love the portrait of the witch. Both of them are beautiful and would work together beautifully as a spread. And the ones that I don't like much here are, in this book there's not too many, but here, this is just, once again, like, they're a bit of a, give me the filler feel, the kind of, what is it, scythe, is it? And some kind of, what is it, wheat, possibly. And, the tree bogs. It's just that, don't hate it, don't love it, kind of leaves me pretty indifferent. And this one is just all the tiny itsy bitsy details here, just nope. Not gonna deal with that. And the kind of a creepy bird, although a creepy bird I kind of even fancy a bit, like I kind of could dig the creepy bird. It could be fun near Halloween or something. And my favorite here is actually this image with little dragons who are born from the fire under the stove, and this, just the concept and the coziness of the image, and the cat sleeping and slightly perturbed about dragons flying around in the kitchen. I just love the image. I think it's really nice, and I would love to do it eventually. So yeah, that's it. That's my Hanna Karlzon books in the order of preference. And once again, this is very, very strictly my opinion. The fact that, I like some books better than others does not mean that, those are actually better in any way. This is so subjective. Also, it changes, books that I didn't like in the beginning at all have now become more and more my favorites. For example, the Hexenstuga, the Tales from the Witch's Cottage, was not one of my favorites in the beginning. Now it's at the very top. I love the images, they're the best. So it's very, very changeable and subjective. But, this is the point of this video. They're all subjective, and it's interesting to see what other people think and value in their books. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Have a great day or night or afternoon or morning, whatever the time is in your corner of the world. If you like my videos, please like and subscribe. It will help me a lot to get my videos to more people. And thank you very much for watching, and bye bye.